The following is brought to you in time allotted for government broadcasts.
While we support you in the lawful exercise of your duties, we are going to hold you accountable.
I, Terence Francis Williams, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica.
Indicom, established in August 2010 to conduct impartial investigations into allegations of abuse by the police, soldiers, or correctional officers. The Commission has replaced the Police Public Complaints Authority (PPCA), but with additional powers. The scope of its work is outlined in the Independent Commission of Investigations Act.
When we hear of a complaint, it is the intention of the Act that the Commission sends its investigators to the scene immediately to commence an investigation and take charge of the scene.
That will be followed by interviews to collect statements and laboratory testing to examine the evidence collected. In certain cases, dispute resolution may be recommended at this stage, depending, of course, on the gravity of the situation.
And at the end of the day, to make a recommendation for the file to go to the DPP to see if it should be charged, or referred to the Commissioner or to the Chief of Defence Staff for internal discipline within their force.
Between August 16, 2010 and February 9, 2011, Indicom received and investigated almost 380 cases. 62 were referred to the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, 51 of which are still awaiting a ruling. 106 cases were, however, cleared up. The majority of complaints from citizens fell in the categories of assault and unbecoming conduct.
As regards fatalities and shootings, the police are required to immediately inform us of these.
That means a formal complaint from a citizen is not needed for Indicom to investigate a fatality or shooting.
What we're working on now is a protocol to set out what they should and should not do whilst they are preserving the scene.
Indicom is still in the process of finalizing its mechanisms to properly investigate complaints. As of February 2011, the organization had 8 investigators, but that figure will be increased to 60. Each application for a position within Indicom will be assessed on its own merit, but its management will ensure that there aren't too many former police, military, or correctional officers within the Commission.
We're not going to say we're hiring none of them. When it does come out, I think people will see no more than 20%, certainly, who had some service. There will be a mixture and leadership, certainly by myself and persons who have had no prior contact or no prior service in those organizations.
Once Indicom's systems are fully up and running, the Bureau of Special Investigations BSI will wind up operations, turning over its case files and resources to the Commission.
Currently, the BSI does their investigations, and from time to time, we advise them which of their investigations we are going to take on, take over, supervise, or direct them in.
In the first 6 months of its existence, Indicom had to take on some major cases.
We have charged 8 police officers who refuse to obey our order that they come in and give statements. The only trivial matter we have taken on so far is the disappearance of Dale Anthony Davis. We can't say whether he was shot because we are still trying to discover what has happened to him. The reason why we have not taken on all of the Tivoli matters is that we do not have the capacity as yet.
Indicom is also planning to conduct its own video identification parades. Naturally, the Commission will first have to buy the equipment and train people to use it.
There is a minor legislative amendment which is required, very minor. It requires that the Indicom officer have the power of an inspector of police, who is the one who can conduct a parade. So when we get that done, we will certainly have that facility in this office. It should not be very difficult.
In the interim, however, there are certain impediments that need urgent attention.
We must shorten our time on the scene. The record keeping must be good of who goes where in their station diary, who got what weapon, what rounds were issued to this person. Because when an investigator goes to these records, he must not see that they have been tampered with or they're not existent. So we recognize that there needs to be a cooperation between us and the forces.
INDECOM is determined to carry out its duties within the ambit of the law.
A police officer should get no better or worse treatment than any other person suspected of crime. I will be independent, which means no political control or direction over my work. I'm not looking any favor from the police or the JDF or the corrections. When a file is submitted for prosecution, it is one which must be of a high standard.
To file a complaint with INDECOM, visit any of their offices in Kingston or Montego Bay, or call their hotline at 1-888-4HELP. You may also send an email to indecom@cwjamaica.com.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.